Yes. I Marcus, the entendres for light
Mhm.
and your perspective of darkness actually not is right. So what's the song? What's the saying? Like after what is it? Oh my gosh. After the rain, like after the rain, the sun comes. What's the metaphors? The metaphors, right? But it's the that I'm even thinking about that now, how the metaphors are even shaping different in my mind based on this perspective that darkness is not a place that you go to or you stay, but darkness is a through line. Darkness is a way through to the light. That darkness is a way to, when you say hibernation and even seclusion, that what what can we do in that time
Mhm.
that actually allows us to birth light or to walk into it and to become something new. When we sleep, we close our eyes, we are in darkness,
Yes.
but
Ex-
we're resting and recharging.
exactly. Exactly. It's kind of, why do babies hate to go to sleep? They cry when they know it's bedtime, right? It could
Mhm.
be because they're scared of the dark, or it's because they're going to miss something, right? But you need it to reset, to just gather. So when the light comes, you're prepared.
Mm.
That you have to go through it. You can't have one without the other. There
Yeah.
is light without darkness.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is no sun without the moon. It
Mm.
has to be balanced. I know we hate negative things or challenging things, right? Even in our, right? There are things that we go through we do not want to experience, but it makes you a better person.
Yeah. That's a fact. That's an
And
entire
it's
fact.
supposed, at least it's supposed to make you a better
Mhm.
person. It's learn something. You know, I think at times, going into grief, it's grieving, it's a lifelong thing. It's not a just right now in this moment, and it's a continuous process. And
Mm.
reflect back, if you grieved this year, right at the beginning of the year, where are you now?
Ooh.
Are you still in that
Mhm.
process where you were in January, or have you developed and have you gotten stronger, just a little bit stronger day by day,
Mhm.
you know? um and small steps count.
Yeah.
Small do count. Like, give yourself some grace. So NOEL is
Mhm.
really about, I turned her into a woman and I turned it into a place. So, and you'll see this in the graphics.
Mhm.
And I can actually, if people are on, if you want a little snippet,
Oh, we gonna get a
I'll
sneak peek.
give you a sneak peek
Oh,
because
we got an exclusive sneak peek, y'all. Okay, now, come on. Oh, this hasn't even been released
we'll
yet.
flip subject, but I'll only give you a sneak peek of who NOEL is, not where she
Okay,
is. Or
now we getting a
there are a
sneak
lot,
peek.
of ideas in my creative process. I developed just so many things, and this will, I'm only giving you a sneak peek because she'll be released tomorrow.
Come on, love it.
But I'm actually at my computer now, so
Okay,
how do you work it? Okay.
look, friend. Oh, yeah, y'all. Do we see this? Do we see this? Are we seeing this? Marcus. Noelle is that girl. Noelle is that girl for the holidays.
She's
Noelle is
beautiful.
that girl for the holidays. I
Yeah.
love, hold up, wait a minute, hold on. Oh, that was my time limit reach. Ignore for today. Okay, there we go. Noelle is cute. Noelle is very cute. Come on, yes, in the comments. Okay, come on. Okay, so I thank you for sharing, friend, because we go there. We can
Yeah,
go dive off the deep
it's
end.
it's complex, it's complicated. I mean, it makes sense to me, but also these are things I don't have to say out loud. And
Mhm.
they're all in my mind, and it's like I never get to talk about them.
Yeah.
So, you know, that that is just how I
Uh-huh.
process things. It's all in my work, you know, it's all,
Hmm.
and it's not just in my work, it's in my operation. It's in my daily life. That's just how I am, who I am. It all intertwines and it all reflects one another.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So we're gonna keep it going
Okay.
because this is with the energy. So when it comes to your, again, staying in your creative process, because we're talking about the light and dark, what are some of or even how you're using or building your toolbox to pull from, right? So when you're building out your toolbox, how do you start to frame where the things happen in the work? Whether it's like, how do you map it out? Are you someone who like takes the pictures out and puts them together? Are you somebody who has to use the post-it notes? Are you someone who's like, look, I just got to talk it out, close my eyes? Like, what is your process to now filter it from your mind and then get it out in some form of prototype?
So many ways, so many ways. Um, I am a very intentional mover, and
Mm-hmm.
not dancing my body, my how my mind processes things, um, how my emotion processes things, even my mouth, my speaking piece. I am very intentional with everything that I have because it's not just about the movement,
Mm-hmm.
right? It really is about all of it's about the storytelling, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
everything has to make sense. So what I like to do is do my research. I
Mm-hmm.
like to do research. I like to find out where I presently am and what I'm trying to say, what I'm talking about. Um, Sometimes that comes with making steps before I choose music. Sometimes it's getting inspired by song, by music and sound, and then I begin to move. Sometimes it's a word, like a singular word or something I've heard or something I've seen or a conversation I've had. I'm inspired by a lot. I like to say God is in everything, and I'm literally looking and listening
Mm-hmm.
for him to me all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So my toolbox is such a complex box. It's literally digging in the Barney bag and you don't know what you're about to get because we never saw what was in there. You just
Oh, he just said, let's see what we can
like,
make today.
okay,
Yeah.
like, and like going back, maybe that also is just like a thing that's in my, I can do anything, I can make anything. Like you're not always gonna see it. You're not always gonna, at least for me, I don't need the same process to get like results. Not the same
Mm-hmm.
result, like results, which is quality. My goal is quality, excellence, and the truth in my story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or wanting people to relate or ask questions, like, you know, those are just my goals. Like, I love to inspire. I like to see people's reactions, not in a way where it's like, oh, what do they think, what do they think? It's like, how do you relate to it? What's happened in your life to make it relatable or
Yeah.
unrelatable? Like, you know, I'm interested in people. So again, my toolbox is very like, I'm gonna dig in this Barney bag and we're gonna see
Yes.
what happens. Is very exploratory. I'm an explorer. I'm never married to a process or a certain process or strategy. Even though we know certain things work, I always remain flexible.
Mm-hmm.
I always remain um, ready for something new or something different than what I've done or seen before, because no experience is like what's happened before or what's happening next. So um, there's just a variety
Mm-hmm.
of things I use to create um, or make or get inspired by. But one thing I always do is my research.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm unsure of what a word means,
Mm-hmm.
I look it up. If I'm unsure of the multiple, how things can have multiple
Mm-hmm.
definitions or explanations. I'm like, well, what best fits what I'm trying to do or what I'm trying to say, because the English language is so complex and complicated.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I try to look outside of myself as well,
Mm-hmm.
like the perception. What are people perceiving?
Mm-hmm.
Because it could be misunderstood.
Yeah.
Like, um, not that I stay focused on it, but it's just like, how could that come off? How
Mm-hmm.
could, maybe that's intentional? Maybe I want it to be like that.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not quite what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I'm not somebody that's just like, I do it like this, that.
Mm-hmm.
It's always just like different, but at the root is
Yeah.
knowledge. At the root is spirit.
Yeah.
At the root, like, that is always going to drive me, is education, my
Mm-hmm.
spirit, and being inquisitive,
Yeah.
that knowing more information about a subject matter.
Yes. So some of the takeaways for that though was three things. Number one, the first thing that you said was doing the research of yourself.
Mhm.
And I don't think, especially when people are in a creative process, and when I'm talking to artists, I don't hear so much about them investigating and researching and discovering more of themselves because they're only focused on the output of the work. So you even taking time to say, let me sit with this and let me figure out for myself with whether it's what does the movement articulation need to be, what if even sitting with yourself and making that decision with NOEL and saying, look, I want a winter show inspired by both we'll say sacred and secular ideas, and then bringing them together. And I want it to
Cultural
be
and
hmm, oh,
cultural.
and cultural, all three of these things together under one umbrella. And now you being the person that says, I'm going to deliver this in with all these other things. When we talk about light, dark, depression, loneliness, I'm just thinking about the mental gymnastics and Olympics that's going on up here in order for you to show up, again, just knowing who you are, to show up how you are and how clear you are when it comes to your direction, instruction, and intention and approach to the artist when you're in the studio. So I think, and I'm even thinking about myself and how I approach my work. What is the research that I need to do on myself so that I can get better connected, not just to me as an artist, like, oh, I like to do these things. No, and not just being intentional about the work, but no, what are the other things about myself that I haven't explored yet because I haven't allowed myself to? What are the things that I haven't sat with to dig deep and research and discover the new ideas and inspirations that can come up if I just sit still for a bit and start to research myself? That's number one. Number two, the intention of connecting the people to the work. So not just the dance artists who are presenting the choreography, but more specifically, or not more specifically, but in addition, also connecting the people who are viewing, connecting the audience to the work, and making sure that, or doing your best to say, look, I'm culturally, yes, I'm connected to this community. And yes, there are other people who are coming in, but I want to know what it is, how you are feeling, right? At a visceral level, what is that feeling that's going on inside of you that is now coming out and being projected onto the performers, and even from the performers back onto you? Because we know live art, it's a two-way street.
It's a two-way street, and I think, and I want you to
Mhm.
finish. I just want to, and it is very much about myself, the artist performing, and the audience. Again, like you said, it is a street where all of this is happening.
Mhm.
Bypass, whoop, it's a loop de
Come
loop. Like,
on.
it's very much that, and I think you can get very much into, I'm the performer, you're the audience. Enjoy.
Mm.
You get what I'm
Yep.
saying? It comes systematic, right? Instead of an exchange of energies. People come to be entertained. People come to be touched.
Mm.
People like whether they know it or not, they're coming for an experience.
Yeah.
So I have to put them in my mind. Like
Hmm.
I sit and be like, would I enjoy it from the other scope?
Yep.
Not just
Yeah.
from an entertainment perspective, but also my feel. Am I going to feel anything? Am I going to be wowed by
Hmm.
anyone? Like, these are real human things that we look for. Like, not just because my friend is dancing or my daughter's on stage or I know the lighting designer. Like, it's like I'm spending my money. I want to know if I'm going to get church,
Yep.
not church like like you go to a cycle class to get a
Hmm.
workout, right? There is an exchange money. I'm here, I'm doing the
Come
thing
on, doing the thing.
I've
One,
lost
two, one, two.
before I go back to Starbucks. Like, I at least had one moment where I dropped a pound or four. Like,
Oh
now
my
me a
gosh.
crumpet and some tea.
See,
So there is like
yes. Oh
space.
my gosh.
There has to be a
Yeah.
benefit, like
Yeah.
for the audience, where there's an exchange for money for those things,
Yeah.
right? You're
Hmm.
watching a movie for entertainment, the story, you fall in love with characters, like there's a whole thing happening.
Hmm.
The same with performing arts.
Hmm.
Like, I feel like people do get caught up in, this is my art, this is how I feel, this is what I want to say. There's a space for
Yeah.
that. Like, I feel the same way. I want to say this is what I want to do, but I do not leave the artist performing out,
Hmm.
nor the audience, the
Hmm.
people consuming the work, right?
Yeah.
Because the dance artists are also consuming your work, your
Yeah.
feelings, your
Mm.
thoughts, your life, your
Yeah.
story, like
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah.
And it's like, how much of that do you want them to experience? How much of that do you want them to take with them for the rest of their life?
Yeah.
Like, not a moment in time, it's the rest of their life.
Yeah. Yes.
So I do consider those things when I'm making, creating, you know, having experiences, rehearsal. So, okay,
Five, 6, 7, 8
your third
friend.
thing,
I look the because the artists are also consuming the work.
right?
I don't think there's a whole we could do a whole situation talk about so many other types of creative processes where and I'll even for myself, right? So there were times like earlier on where I was creating work from a very dark place. I'm like super dark. And I was asking things of dancers, right? Young choreography, just like, oh yeah, just we're gonna make this piece about something, something. And you take them to this dark place, you require them to go to this dark place mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically. And then what are you doing to take them out of
Are
that?
you leading? Are you leading them anywhere? Or are you leading them into a hole
Yeah.
that they can't get themselves out of? And that's why I tell people, when they ask me from a director
Hmm.
standpoint, you have to be a
Yeah.
leader. I would never tell somebody to go somewhere I wouldn't go myself, and
Hmm.
give them the tools to get out,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
get to
Yeah.
digest. Now, everybody doesn't process the same.
Hmm.
Some does take outside work,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
people don't want to do. You want to leave it at the studio, it doesn't stay there.
It doesn't. It doesn't. It
Not,
does not stay in this. It's impossible.
not all.
It's
For
impossible.
some people, it is. They can leave it
Look.
there. They can take it. But everybody's different. Some
Yeah.
it,
That's real. No, that's true. That's true.
it requires
Yeah.
more. It does, and that's why it's like when you're asked to be put in that seat,
Uh-huh.
is like, are you really ready, or are you
Mm.
turning off? And then you ask yourself, why are people so broken? You broke
Yep.
them, and you
That's
did
very.
not heal.
Hmm.
You did not help. You did not continue the process. It doesn't just stop at
Hmm.
the bow.
Come on.
Yeah, thank Thank you. No,
No,
it doesn't.
no, it doesn't.
Not for everyone. It just
Yeah,
doesn't. Some people
yeah.
are looking for more. I want
Yeah.
more. Now they're addicted. Some people are like, whoa, that was cool. We cool. But some people like, what do I do now? Like, the people that's in the middle. Like, where do I go now?
Hmm.
You know? So, okay, I want to hear your third
Yeah.
thing. I know we got stuck.
You could. It's all good.